In this episode, we're going to be going over how to record, edit, and save all of your recordings for your audio retail distribution. So this assumes that you've done the two following things: downloaded Audacity and installed it, and downloaded Lame, the audio compression software, and installed it on your PC as well. Those two devices are what we're going to need. Also, you must have installed the USB microphone that we've provided, or any other USB or recording device that you have. First, we're going to open up Audacity. As you see, when it opens up, there it's a blank screen. I need you to make sure you have some settings done correctly. At the top, it should come up with speakers as your standard thing. If you have a headset or whatever, however you'd like to listen back, make sure this is appropriate. On the other side here, you need to make sure that the microphone is correct. USB microphone or whatever we're using for the appropriate device. Make sure that the mono is selected. It comes with standard by stereo. You make sure it's in mono. We need not waste the space for stereo recordings. Next thing is to check your microphone volume. Make sure you're getting input. So under this little microphone there's a drop down, and you do start monitoring. As you see here, there's a good volume. By default, so I'm going to raise this back up to about here, and as long as you're getting, between 2/3 over half, which is the normal volume, that will be great. You can now click the arrow again and stop monitoring. Recording something is very simple. Don't worry about messing up. You can easily re-record, erase, edit, anything we need to do. So first thing to do, as soon as you have your script and you're ready to know what you're going to say, is very simply come up here and click record. As you can see, as I'm talking, waveforms start popping up and it's recording. So I just stopped it by hitting the stop here, and you can see there's little waveforms of me talking. If I come over here, click, and hit the space bar or the play button, I'm going to hit the space bar. As you can see, as I'm talking, waveforms start popping up and it's recording. So there you go. Now, let's say we didn't want all of that and we just wanted this middle clip here of me talking. So I'm going to click here and drag across. Now, I don't want this part and I don't want this part. So up here, there's a little squiggles of trim. Hit that, everything goes away. Now let's say, let's say we want to zoom in. We can click here to zoom in, or you can hold down control of the scroll wheel and zoom in, zoom out. Let's say I don't really want this part here. Okay, I can highlight that part and I'm going to hit the delete key. There you go. Now, as you can see, as I'm talking, okay, let's say that's our recording. Doesn't really matter for right now what it is. I'm going to double click, and that shows and highlights the whole thing. I now can come over here to File, Export Selection. Don't do Save, because that's going to save it as an Audacity project. You don't necessarily want to do that. You got to export it, the selection. Now let's go and find the folder that you've downloaded all of the template audio we've given you. If you haven't done so, on our website, go and find the retail audio commercial media file. It's a zip file you download, and it will create a folder called audio commercial media. In there we'll have silence and some test files that you'll need a little later for your Bright Author software. We're just going to call this test media demo. Now, the first time you go through, don't click save. You got to do some settings to make sure this is going to come out with the best sound and overall the lowest data rate that we need for quality. I need you to come in here and options and click variable. Quality is 145 to 185. Joint stereo, and the rest should be kind of how it comes up. Just make sure it looks like this. You can click OK here. Down you can click Save. It'll keep that setting for every setting for all your prior recordings. You can now, this comes out like this, it doesn't matter, okay. Now if we come back and we bring up our folder, you'll see there's our test media demo. You can see how small it is for what we just created. And now that's pretty easy. That's all done. That's in your folder that you're going to use in step 2 for your Bright Author distribution, or sending that out to your files, to your players. And one thing I want to show you is, if you don't like this, let's say you don't like anything about this, and you'd rather re-record the whole thing from scratch, that's no problem. Just hit the X. It goes away. You can now hit record and start recording something new. So don't worry about getting it perfect the first time. You can easily do it again and again. And that concludes the end of opening, saving, and editing documents and files for your Rethink Innovations commercial playback.